Hi, this is Jill from Humu Yoga, and this is the gentle practice. This week, we're focusing on the theme of healing. And every week, I do one of these themed practices, and I weave it into all the practices that I teach. And it gives us a sense of inspiration that we can get from our yoga practice itself. So to start, we're going to be in a comfortable cross-legged position, maybe, if that works in your body. Sitting on the floor can be quite challenging. So sometimes a yoga blanket, or if you're comfortable using a block, or maybe even a bolster, a yoga bolster, can really help. And the way they help is, if you're sitting on the floor and your hips are tight and you notice your knees are like this and your back is rounded, by sitting up on something a little high, you can let the hips relax a little. They're not so tense. So find what works for you and then play with that. And notice, once you're there, can you pull the belly in and sit up really tall? So we'll start. We'll begin with getting into our internal locks. So maybe it's just the muscles you're sitting on. So engage them. We call that mula bandha. It's the pelvic floor muscles. Mula means root. Bandha is lock. And then right above there, below the belly button, draw in, and you'll feel a sense of lifting upwards. So together with the mula bandha, the root lock, and the uddiyana bandha, the drawing in, and uddiyana means flying upward, you get a sense of lift. And then at the top of the spine, we just gently drop the chin down. We call that jalandhara bandha, or chin lock. And that just seals in all the energy, right? And you're connected now, and you have that inner strength of the bandhas. And your back, your low back is lifted and supported. Now you can just sit and focus on the breath. So you can close the eyes and just visualize how that wonderful diaphragm works. As you inhale, it expands and it fills you up, and the rib cage expands. And then as you exhale, it relaxes and the rib cage draws closer together. Just notice, do you have any restrictions in your breathing today? And just, can you find those and open them up? And then stay in the connecting breath. Right? And then we'll take the hands together in prayer position, and we'll vibrate an Om, and I will recite the healing quotes. So let's go ahead and start. Inhale. Om. Change happens through movement, and movement heals. Don't overlook your greatest healing tool, your intuition. I am not what has happened to me. I am what I choose to become. If you carry joy in your heart, you can heal any moment. As soon as healing takes place, go out and heal somebody else. Every breath and every step can be nourishing and healing. Healing. For me, I know there's emotional healing and there's physical healing, and I recently have had to come to terms with just accepting that I need to slow down and heal a couple of injuries, overuse injuries. And I was upset at first and really, bummed that I had these injuries and had to slow down. But they've given me perspective. And I'm learning so much more about my body, and my body's teaching me. And that's the reason I got the injury in the first place. So I think healing is super important. And I'm going to take us through this gentle yoga practice today, and we're going to use every movement as a way to heal, as a way to get stronger. We're going to focus on hamstrings and lower back, but we're going to do the whole body as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you're happy with your seated position, we talked about that a little bit, then stay in it. But if you needed to adjust, you could have your feet out here. This can be helpful to some people. So sit in a way that feels good in your body. I'm just going to come back here. And we're just going to start with the hands down and then move with breath. Inhale, lift up, and see if you can lift even taller. And exhale, reach out. So you're still engaged in those bandhas, right? Inhale, lift up. And exhale, reach out. One more time, to big breath in, inhale, lift up. From this very lifted position, we're going to take a side bend over to the right. So I'm lifting this left arm, and the shoulder is a little elevated, but it's rolling away from my ear. And then as I side bend, I'm pulling the right shoulder away from my right ear, and I'm reaching with this left hand. I'm also kind of reaching down with the left sitting bone. And then I'm going to slowly turn my head down and just feel that. Where's that feel? Do I get a stretch in my neck? A little bit. And then I start to slowly turn, keeping my head back. And just take this to a place that feels easy and good in your body. Maybe you stay here, right? Maybe looking up feels good. And then inhale, rise up. Let's reach the arms up again. Inhale. And then exhale, a side bend to the left. Elevate, externally rotate. So I'm rolling my shoulder away from my ear, and then I'm drawing the left shoulder away from the left ear as I reach. And now I'm reaching down through the right sitting bone, and there's an opposite energy through the right pinky reaching away. And then you can look down and then slowly start to turn. See how it feels in your body. Maybe straight ahead feels good. Maybe it feels good to look up. And then inhale, we'll rise up. Now we'll make our way over to all fours. So to do that, you can just take your legs to the side and gently turn. And then from here, let's just go through some very basic but really good cat-cow poses. So on an exhalation, I like to tuck the toes under, but you don't have to. It just makes me feel a little bit more lift. Draw the belly way in and up. Widen across the shoulder blades and draw the shoulders down. Pause for a moment. And now inhale, come forward. Now we're going the opposite. We're arching the back instead of rounding the back. And feel how the shoulder blades draw down your back, right? But there's a widening going on across the chest, and you're not leading with your chin. And then exhale, round the spine. So we're stretching the spine here, but we're really supportive. We're drawing that belly in. And then as you inhale, start to come forward and arch the back. And then let's come to a neutral spine. So neutral, you're not tucked under, you're not arched, you're right in the middle. And then from there, let's go ahead and come down to the elbows. We're going to come down to the floor and do some spinal extension exercises. So we reach back. And let's make your way all the way down to the floor. So you can rest your head in your hands and just take a moment here. See if you can. I want you to feel what it feels like to draw the tail under in your low back. So you can look up for a moment and just watch the video for a moment. See how my butt's sticking up here. And then this would be a tight back, very stiff and not comfortable. See how I draw my belly in, and then I take my tail under. And then from there, if you've got that, it almost feels like the pubic bone is going towards the heart, not pressing straight down into the mat. And then from here, see if you can lift one leg. And really feel a sense of length as you do that, keeping that tail under, then lift the other leg. And then from here, let's see if we can come up to Sphinx pose. So I draw my elbows in. Again, did the low back change here? Can you take your tail under and lift the belly? And now I'm feeling like I'm pressing my feet down into the floor and keeping the tail under. And then gently, shoulders move down your spine and the sternum lifts and the head is back. And then from here, if you want to, everything's going well, you can inhale and rise up a little higher. Keeping that tail under, make sure you keep that. Maybe you want to look side to side. Keep drawing your shoulders down and wide. Take a breath here, or maybe you stayed here, that's fine, and slowly come down. We'll do that one more time. If you wanted to go a little deeper, you could move your hands in a little bit, but you don't have to. And shoulders down and wide. And you don't even have to come up if this is enough down here. But if it feels good, feel like you're widening across the shoulders. Shoulders are down and wide, and the tail is under, the belly is lifted. Pause. And you can feel how your back is working. And then come down. And then from here, let's make our way back to all fours. So we just come back and we're on all fours. I'm going to use yoga blocks here. I always like to have yoga blocks and a little towel. These things come in handy, and sometimes even a blanket, but they're not necessary. You can practice without them. The blocks just give me a little bit of height. I'm going to tuck the toes and round the spine again. Do another one of these. I guess this is the cat. Rounding the spine, stretching the spine, and then inhale. We come to that cow. The shoulders are down and wide. Sternum is lifted. Now come to neutral. Now when you're in neutral, you want to keep the belly in, right? Everything's engaged as you hover the knees off. And just see if you can keep that, and then put them down. If you're really in a good place, you should feel some abdominals, and that tells you you're getting the support you need for your spine. So see if you can hover, see if you can feel those abdominals, and then we'll take it back to downward facing dog. And we'll breathe here. Bend the knees, and you can even go wide in your down dog. And then bend the knees, see if you can get your chest closer to your legs. It's okay if your heels are up. And then straighten and play around with that. Try and get your chest to go closer to your legs, not forward, right? As you bend and straighten, and just do the best you can. Bend, and I'm reaching with my upper body, and straighten. And then from here, we're gonna walk up slowly. So just slowly, you can bend your knees. You don't even have to come all the way up. You could come halfway up and pause. And you could be a little bit wider than hip width, just kind of hanging out here. Now we're gonna bend the knees here, bend the knees, just hanging out. We're gonna slowly curl up the spine. I want you to visualize one vertebra at a time. Let your spine curl here, just like you did in that cat. The tail curls under, and you stack the spine. Keep your head down, curling, starting to curl all the way up. One vertebra at a time, stacking, pulling the belly in, maybe starting to straighten your legs. The shoulders roll down and wide, and the head arrives on the spine. And just take a moment and notice where you are in your body right now. And let's maybe step the feet just a little closer together and take the hands in prayer position. And we call this Samasatahi, standing still and straight. And from here, we're going to do a couple roll downs and roll up. It's a classic Pilates exercise that helps us get in tune with our transverse abdominis. It's that deepest layer of abdominal muscles that can act almost like a corset holding everything in. And we're going to use the breath, and this is going to help us get deeper into the hamstrings as we come into a forward fold. So here we go. You can have your feet hip width or a little wider if you need to. We're just going to go ahead and make sure your tail is under to start. You drop your head so you're not sticking your butt out. You drop your head, pull the belly way in, and we're going to articulate down the way we just came up. So letting everything fall forward. You can bend your knees if you need to. Letting your body come all the way down. And then from here, inhale, we're going to exhale and come back up again. Again, if you had to, you could bend your knees. Curl, come all the way up. The shoulders roll back, the head comes into place, and then we do it again. Exhale, round down. Make sure you're not sticking your butt up. The tail is under. You're pulling your belly in, and you're curling down. You use the weight of the arms to pull you down. Now try to straighten your legs, even if you're wide, even if your butt goes back. Use the quadriceps in the front to straighten the hamstrings in the back, and then curl and come up. You could bend your knees if you needed to. Curl all the way up. and shoulders back. Now we're going to try one and we're going to see if you can hold it. So curl, going over, pulling the belly in, all the way down, and just stay here. Maybe if your hands are like mine, pretty close to the floor, you can grab the elbows and kind of encourage a pulling down. Or maybe you're here. Whatever works in your body, just hang for a moment. Try to straighten your legs, a couple more breaths, and then we slowly, you can bend the knees if you needed to, but maybe by now you don't. Curling and coming all the way up, shoulders down. And now we'll see how Uttanasana feels. So Uttanasana is a forward bend, and it's trying to keep your back nice and lengthened. So from here, let's take the hands on the waist to encourage that kind of corset feeling of the transverse abdominis below your belly button. Feel the belly in. See if you can come halfway down. Pause here. And then slowly, maybe take your hands to the blocks. Maybe you can move them closer. Maybe you can come down. And then breathe. If it's accessible for you, maybe you can take your hands here now and keeping that length in the low back. You're pulling down closer. Shoulders away from your ears. And just see if that helped you. Straighten the legs a little bit. I know it's helped me tremendously in my practice to go a little deeper in my forward bends, and it feels good. A good hamstring stretch, really nice. And then inhale, lengthen. Now a flat spine, do the best you can. So maybe you need to be here. I'm feeling the hamstrings really stretching here. And then from here, pulling the belly in, see if you can find this. And then we'll rise all the way up. And then hands down. And then we'll find our way back down to down dog with a sun breath. So using the breath, inhale, noticing the hamstrings, exhale, pull the belly way in. And then inhale, look up and lengthen, and we'll take it back to down dog. And just hold down dog for a moment. Notice, does that feel different? Do you feel the hamstrings here? Maybe it's just calves, which is good. But breathe, and then we'll come back down. And then from here, let's go ahead and find a nice child's pose, but we're just going to do a rounded back child's pose. So just pulling your belly in, reaching back through your hands, drawing the head down, and trying to get your butt down, but just doing the best you can. I have osteoarthritis in my knees, so my butt doesn't go all the way down, but this still feels nice and released. Breathing. And then inhale, we'll rise up to the knees. So from here, we're going to take a virasana. So I'm going to use 2 blocks in this pose. The knees come together, and this is a really nice way to sit up tall and also to get a nice quad stretch. So I use 2 blocks. You could use blankets, bolsters. I have a link below in my descriptions if you want to know where to get those. But let's find a little separation here as you come back. I'm being very careful and cautious. I'm moving my calf outward a little bit to give some space under my knees. And it feels nice once I'm here. But you might even have to sit up higher. So just finding that. And then notice how it lengthens. It's easy to lengthen the spine in this pose. This is a good pose for meditation. It's called Virasana or Hero's Pose. I like this mudra. It's very common where you take the index finger and the thumb together and open this way. It's called Jnana Mudra. And Jnana is knowledge, bringing the intuition, your intuition and the outside inspiration together. And then we just sit there and we receive that. So to me right now, this week, it's all about healing. How is every movement that I'm doing in my practice right now allowing me to heal a little bit more? So let's just find that, just breathing here in this meditation of just inhaling, exhaling, finding ease. And now we'll stay in this energy, take the hands together in prayer position. And then let's reach up and reach way up Find yourself in this beautiful upper back bend. Just go where you can. If it's accessible, you might want to take this high prayer. It's a little harder. So just do what feels right in your shoulders, but lift up if it feels good, and just allow the openings to happen. Every movement is healing, nourishing. And then inhale, we'll come back. Take the hands down. And let's go ahead and come out of Virasana. And from here, I'm just going to move the blocks. We'll come to seated again. So you can just come to the side and slowly move your feet to the front. And we're going to work on some roll backs. So we did a roll up. Now we're going to roll back. And this is really nice for the spine, a nice stretch and a strengthener. So sit up as tall as you can with your hands in back of your thighs. It's easier to sit right up on those sitting bones and pull that belly in. And then from here, we're going to curl back. Pull the belly in and start to curl back. And then we'll curl and we'll come up to seated. And we'll do that again and curl back. This time, you can try to go back a little further maybe. You can hold on the whole time. The tail is under, the belly's in. And then we're going to curl and come back. And then this time we're going to try a full all the way down. But you can use your hands. Curling down. Pull your belly in. You can use your hands. If it's accessible to you, come all the way down. And then from here, inhale, exhale. Let your head curl up, shoulders are down. You can use your hands, pull the belly in, and sit up. And now we're gonna try a forward, Paschimottanasana, a forward bend. So if you have a little towel and you know your hamstrings are a little tight, you could use your towel here, right? And see if you can hold on, lengthen through your spine to start, that low back, and then straighten your legs and pull yourself forward. Let's do that one more time. Bend the knees and sit way up. And then exhale. Straighten your legs. And then just pause here and go as deep as your body wants to. Or maybe you're able to hold your feet and relax here and breathe. Maybe it doesn't feel super relaxing because it's a big stretch, but can you breathe into the pose? So every inhalation, lengthen the low back. Exhale, see if you go a little deeper. You could even bend the knees. Inhale, get your low back really lengthened, and then exhale. Just see if you can find more. And then finally inhaling, and we'll release. We're going to make our way all the way down to the floor now. So take a breath in and curl back. So just like we did before, curling back, holding on if you need to, curling and coming all the way down, belly in, and now we're on the floor. Let's go ahead and bend the knees. And then from here, we'll see how the hamstrings are feeling here in this supine position. So starting by pulling your right knee into your chest. Just notice what's going on in the hip flexors there. Go ahead and straighten the leg. And then we're going to bend and really straighten. So you're really contracting all the muscles on the top of the right leg, the quadriceps, to stretch the hamstrings, stretch the back of the leg. And one more. Stretch. And then from here, just gently, can you curl up? Shoulders are down though, not here. Just notice what's going on today. Oh, after all those rollbacks, it feels pretty good. And then release, and let's let the leg go down. And then we'll do the other side. So pulling the left leg in. Notice the hip flexors here. And then go ahead and straighten the leg. And we'll bend and straighten a few times. Make sure your neck and shoulders are relaxed. Your neck is long. Breathe. If your hamstrings are tight and this is really hard, don't put the tension in your neck. It's not going to help your hamstrings. And this is a healing practice. And one more. And only if it feels accessible. See if you can curl up, but no tension, right? Only do it if it feels good. Breathing. And if it doesn't feel good now, in time, it'll get better. And we'll release. And then from here, let's take the feet together and let the knees open. And you can draw them as close as feels good in your body for Supta Baddha Konasana. And just keep your arms out to the side for now and breathe here. Inhale. And notice, can you draw your ribs down and keep that neutral spine? So you want to make sure you're not arching, sticking the butt out, and you're not tucking under. There's a nice neutral here. And breathe. You could slightly rock side to side if that felt good, and then kind of find a middle and see if you can let your breath do the work. So as you exhale, you can relax. You inhale, fill up. Exhale, relax. And now we're going to go ahead and take the knees up and about hip width. We're going to do some gentle bridging. So articulating bridge is a really nice way to stretch the back in a very supportive way and get you in touch with those deep abdominal muscles, the transverse abdominis. You curl the spine and we come up. And now I'm feeling the back of the legs, like right under the butt, those muscles, they're connected to the pelvic floor. Let's reach the arms up, but try to keep your ribs down, and then we'll slowly curl the spine to come down. So you notice how I'm hollowing out here, and I'm not in my neck. I'm really resisting that and finding length all the way down. And let's let the arms come down too. We'll do one more of those. Feels really good. Tuck, curl, lift up, use those muscles. Pull this in. Reach up. Get really long here. Shoulders are still widening though. And then you curl. Don't let the neck do weird things. Keep it lengthening. Curl all the way down. And then once you're down, inhale here and exhale. We'll finish with a nice glute stretch. So let's go ahead and do the best you can here, crossing the right ankle over the left knee and open that knee out. If you can, go ahead and pull in. I like to really encourage the opening of the inner thigh and the glute with this right elbow. I'm really pushing that knee open and trying to pull in the left knee in. And then from here, we'll come down. We'll come to a gentle twist. So just take the legs over to the left. And my right foot is on the floor. I'm just gently gazing over the right shoulder, but you could look straight up. And then inhale, letting it come up. I'm going to go the other way now. So I just lift up a little and go over, feeling this length across this hip. And then maybe your gaze goes to the left. And then inhale and come back. We'll do the other side. Cross the left ankle over. Try to open that knee. If you want to go a little deeper, pulling in. Using this left elbow to open the left knee. Shoulders are relaxed. Neck is long. I'm pulling in. Opening this left knee, pulling the right thigh towards me. Feeling that nice glute stretch. And then slowly coming down. And now I'm going to take my left foot to the floor as I twist. And then you could take your gaze to the left, or you could look straight up and breathe. And then from here, coming up, and we'll go the other way. And I'm gently pulling that right knee down, but just gently. And you could take your gaze the other way. You could even have this foot on the floor if that was too much. And breathe. And then inhale, let everything come back. And let's come into a happy baby. Pull the belly in as you do this. And you can rock a little bit. And then let's release into Shavasana, a nice healing Shavasana. So everything we've done has taken us to a place where we can just release the body without any tension. And that's why it's called corpse pose, and go deep into the soul where there's peace. And you can stay here as long as you'd like, but I'm going to go ahead and take us out of it. So just start to move your fingers and toes and notice your breath. And as you're ready, we're going to bend the knees. And you can pull the knees up and roll over to your right side. Or you could roll to your left side if that was better in your body. And then we're going to slowly come on up to seated. So just take your time. Of course, if you were staying in Shavasana, you'd pause the video. And then come back to your seated position. So if you were using your blanket, you can take the time to find that. And notice the height the blanket gives you and how maybe you're a little bit more open here. And wherever you are, and just take a moment and go into this place of healing and let that resonate into everything you do, every movement you do, everything you do. How can you do it to the fullest? And stay in that. Namaste.